What's going on out there, YouTube? My name is Gary. I've been doing Jiu-Jitsu for 15 years. Today we're going to take a look at just how much money I've spent on all of my instructional materials, from books to DVDs to online instructional content. We'll take a look at all of it and see exactly how much I've spent. Okay guys, huge honor for me today. This doesn't include any memberships, any gi costs, any seminar costs, any private lesson costs. This is just going to be the instructional material. When I was a white belt, I started looking at the very first instructionals that I could find. My brother and I were looking up stuff from like Henzo Gracie and Craig Cook, and we were doing a lot of Pirate Bay torrenting, anything that we could find that anybody was already file sharing, and then as well as you'll see, going hard on all of the purchases for instructionals. If you are starting new to Jiu-Jitsu and you're going to all your classes at your school, highly recommend starting to supplement your education in Jiu-Jitsu with instructional content. You can learn a lot faster if you're spending time and specifically seeking out new skills, new technique to develop that will help you in your training when you go to class and you submit somebody with something that they haven't seen yet because you have a specialty instructional that you were looking up. And so you catch them with something other than the move of the day at your gym, and having that look at additional technique and instruction that's not coming from your instructor can be very helpful. So highly recommend it. Start your own practice of purchasing and studying instructional content on the side from what should be your additional regular membership and going to group classes. So do this. It's good for your jiu-jitsu. Let's go ahead and start taking a look at what we've got in the collection. Okay, here we have the DVD collection. So what do we got? Some Fabio Gurgel, some Killer Strategies and Techniques, Keenan Cornelius. We've got all kinds of old mixed up stuff in here too. That's Taiji China, Eric Paulson, Killer Chicken Wings, Killer Leg Locks, Takedown from the Knees. That's excellent right there. Craig Cook, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu A to Z. He's got a bunch of old school Jiu-Jitsu in it. We got Luis Heredia, Pure Jiu-Jitsu, Rodolfo Vieira, Leo Zena, Vieira, Pedro Sowers, white to blue, blue to purple, the mount, purple to brown. Still waiting on him to put out a brown to black. That is one of my favorite instructionals of all time. We got some Roy Dean here, wrist lock, no-gi essentials, some seminar content there, blue and purple belt requirements, some yoga for martial arts, a bunch of Travis Stevens stuff here, passing, spider leg and lasso, takedown, blueprint, judo academy, wrist locks from everywhere. We got some Marcus Almeida Buchecha, half guard, around the world, top game, footlocks, some end your back pain now. That's a requirement at this belt level. By the time you get to black belt, you will have back pain, promise ya. And we got some Gracie stuff, self-defense, basics, intermediate, advanced, beginning of the revolution with Carlos and Elio Gracie, some Gracie combatives, Aikido to Jiu-Jitsu, some street fighting secrets down here, 80-20 leg locks, Josh Hayden, Carlos Machado's Unstoppable, Secrets of the Hook Flip, pressure points. This one I don't actually recommend, but I thought it was interesting enough to buy at the time. Also, the Sistema Spetsnaz. Sistema is a really interesting martial art to look at. I don't necessarily recommend this, but that's another one that's just interesting to look at. Some down under leg locks, more wrist locks, wrist locks, wrist locks. Alio. We got some of the fight sports guys. 15 brutal fight enders and some more leg locks. And then over here, Gymnastica Natural. This is like a workout set, really. And they just use like jiu-jitsu movements in it. And so that is the DVD collection. All right, here we have my book collection and my dog. He doesn't really train. He's a white belt. He likes to fight though. No, get back, get off my books. Get back. Okay, what do we got? We got Hickson, Breathe and Comfort in Darkness. Choque, I believe is how you pronounce that. And that is all about the history of Jiu-Jitsu in Brazil from 1856 to 1949, 1950 to 1960, and 1960 to 1999 there. And we got Toughest Man Who Ever Lived. That's about Mitsuyo Maeda. We have more history, basically, opening closed guard, Robert Drysdale. More on Mitsuyo Maeda there. Jigoro Kano's book, the Danaher series. That is basically a collection of all his Instagram posts. Very wise stuff in there. Gordon Ryan's book, Top Game. We got some other martial arts books there. Aikido, Jeet Kune Do, Krav Maga, Kung Fu, Human Anatomy, and Becoming a Supple Leopard. That's really kind of, once you start getting injured, get off my books. Boy, don't be getting on my books. Armando, look at you. You gonna read that? No, you're not gonna read that. Okay, where are we? Yeah, so the Anatomy, Supple Leopard, that's for injury prevention. Carlos Gracie, creator of a fighting dynasty, his biography, that's an excellent read. Worth Defending by the late Richard Bressler, excellent book. This one right here, also excellent, Mastering Jiu-Jitsu, Henzo and John Danaher. We got a bunch of instructional stuff here for experts only. Carlson, Hoyler, Submission Grappling, Henzo and Hoyler, Theory and Technique, Alio and Hoyler, Essentials of Gracie Submission, some Chinese wrestling there. Saulo Ribeiro, Jiu-Jitsu University, Drill to Win, Andre Galvao, Nicholas Gregoriades, Black Belt Blueprint, and then these are kind of like the texts, the master texts for Alio's self-defense Gracie Jiu-Jitsu here. Let me just show you real quick here. That's signed by Horian. He circled Alio's name and the G right there. And then we got the Canon of Judo with Kyozo Mifune. And that's the book collection. Okay, next we'll get into my online content, starting with Henry Aiken's Hidden Jiu-Jitsu website. So Henry Aikens is one of my favorite instructors to learn from. He is a black belt from white to black belt under Rickson Gracie and was the head instructor at Rickson School on Pico in LA, California. He also was Crone Gracie's, one of Crone Gracie's main teachers, I think up through brown belt. So lots of self-defense oriented stuff coming straight from Rickson with really great articulation and explaining of the concepts behind Rickson Gracie's hidden or invisible jiu-jitsu. So each one of these is several techniques long, as you can see, and you can get through. DVDs were great, but having these on online platforms where you can separate each section out and name it and then go and search for different reference materials is the way to go. So several modules of multiple techniques within each of these. Back system, closed guard attacks, cross-side attacks, cross-side control, cross-side escapes, escapes intro seminar part 1, escapes intro seminar part 2, the fundamental seminar, half guard top and bottom. Hidden Valley Tudo. This was one of my favorites for sure. If you need to mix striking and jiu-jitsu together to see how jiu-jitsu can work with striking, I highly recommend this one right here. Okay, I'm going to try to fly through the rest of this. Inside the closed guard, mount attacks, mount maintenance and escapes, open guard defense, solo drills, sub and surf Costa Rica seminar footage, sweep system, turtle position, ultimate arm lock, escapes, VIP bonuses. Here we have my BJJ Fanatics account. After John Danaher released the leg locks, everything else started to be here. So I'll just scroll through, get everything here. I'm not going to read all of these. There's 80 something of them. Okay, so that is the BJJ Fanatics account. I'll let you see everything that's in there now. So now we'll go ahead and see the total of everything on a spreadsheet. Pro tip, never watch it at the regular normal speed. Always at least 1.25 or 1.5x. Okay, here we have a spreadsheet where I've entered the titles for everything. Online instructionals, DVDs, books. These are all the titles and costs that I could find currently. So keep in mind, on a large portion of the BJJ Fanatics materials. There were discounts that would have been able to be applied. But there we have it. $23,504.35, give or take, here or there, on all of my instructional costs. Money well spent. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe. See you in the next one.